As everyone knows, it's the basics on the case involving the arrest of Board of Education Maintenance Supervisor Larry Ledbetter. Is the reason we're here is informally just an opportunity to fill in any questions that anybody may have, but the essentials are the case. There was a complaint of suspicion that Mr. Ledbetter was misusing his time while he was supposed to be working for the school system, and throughout investigating and trying to look into that, they grew more suspicious that there might be some theft that was taking place as well. So Superintendent Ms. Perry and Mr. Gilliam then contacted Sheriff Craig, who got the detectives to open a case to dig and look, and led to interviewing Mr. Ledbetter. And at that time, he did confess to taking quite a large sum of items and led them to different locations throughout the county at 4 separate places. As far as a more specific on the amount of items, I do have a printed list here, but there were 3 different box trucks, moving truck type trucks, that had large quantities of items in addition to a pickup truck with an open trailer on the back of it. So that's kind of the amount that was recovered. It was released right back to the school after it was inventoried. The school system took possession of the items. Broad range of items. As you can see here, this is just one printed list that we can get some other copies of. These are the different types of items with the quantities of those, ranging mostly in cleaning supplies, cleaning equipment, some lawn equipment, furniture, items like that. But on Friday the 29th, Mr. Ledbetter did come to the jail after receiving a phone call. He did come up and turn himself in. At the same time, he also surrendered his resignation letter to the school board and asked that we pass that over to them. He was given a bond amount from the magistrate court of $10,000. He was able to post bond within just a few hours of being here and was passed on. So that's kind of the basics, the big picture of what's going on with some of the specific details. I'm going to kind of open it up for y'all to ask questions, and I'll help any way I can. But if anybody's got anything more that you're looking for.
Anything you want to add to that, Dr. Perry?
No, I think he covered our part in this. I mean, because it was turned over to law enforcement as quickly as we could. So.
Well, I think one thing that, and if I may, one thing we may want to put in here is the fact that a lot of these supplies that were taken were janitorial type supplies and equipment. I believe the school system had actually subcontracted that work out recently. So it's not like you would have noticed if some of these items had been taken. Right. So.
Taking questions?
Yeah.
How many years has this been going on, you think? I mean, he's worked there for, he's worked there for 20 years.
There's no way I could tell you. I've been here 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
How long had he worked there?
You said approximately?
Well, approximately 14 years, I think. He started off as a janitor at one of the schools.
Is it going on a decade, you think? I mean, can you tell by his contracts from where he'd been cleaning?
No.
I do.
Most of the information we received on some of the contracts has really not been going on that long.
Okay.
Maybe a year or so. So nothing to indicate that it had been going on for like 10 years or anything. So.
It would be speculation.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
You got on the dollar amount, how much stuff?
We will, but I don't yet. I'm working on pricing it out, but I don't have that finished at this time.
What were the charges?
At this time, it's a felony theft by taking, and the full case files being turned over to the district attorney's office for them to determine any exact number of counts and any specific additions to the charge before it's presented to the grand jury. So rather than writing 200 separate warrants for 200 separate truckloads of information, they've done one felony theft by taking charge, and then the DA will actually go through before it's presented to the grand jury. So that'll end up being multiple counts at some point.
I bet this is more of a DA question, but I'll ask it anyway. Is there any way that he could be made to repay the school system for money that was made using school supplies on cleaning, or does he get to keep what he made Times clean.
Typically, yeah, restitution is
Right.
very common in a case like
You know,
this.
because what he was doing was taking some of the school supplies and equipment and performing work, and whatever he would have been paid, you know, would have been for the labor and materials. What we would typically see in this case is that, you know, we would determine what type of supplies would have been needed to perform that job and put a cost on that. And obviously, he would be required, if found guilty, to, you know, restitution for the county.
That's all I got.
I'm just here for video.
Any other questions?
And I know it's
Thank you.
odd to do this, but
Thank
because
you
it
for
involved
this.
in the school system and the sheriff's office and phone calls back and forth, and if they didn't know what could be released on our end and us on their end, it was easier just to make sure everybody was in one spot to help out.
Right.
And age address.
It didn't put the age on there, but it's 68.
And the other thing that I would like to say is, you know, I know Dr. Perry's been with the school system now for, how long? A little while?
2 years.
A couple of years.
Finishing the third year.
And we've had a great relationship with the Board of Education. And, you know, we get calls, you know, about things like this that come up. We look into it. And this is one thing that had the Board of Education not got on immediately and took steps on their end, would have made this case very difficult. But because of, you know, the way that y'all handled the case, I think helped us come to a quick resolution that we have today. So. And it's, you know, I will say it's very nice to have a great working relationship with the Board of Education, and not just this case, but anything that happens.
We feel
And,
the same way.
We're very fortunate.
We
So.
are, you know.
You haven't called the sheriff and he'll answer.
Yeah.
That's nice.
What's that?
And he gave me his
That's
number.
weird.
He gave me his number, which is nice.
I've learned texting, I can get a much quicker response than calling sometimes. So I've seen him stand there with his phone ringing all the time.
Is that it?
Does anybody need anything else that I can go print out for, you need anything?
No, I'll take pictures of that list, just so I can get it, or wherever it is.
And then you can see where we've calculated, put a place to calculate, but he did that just to send so that you could have some fun with going through all those things.
Dan, what do you think the general feeling of the public is? Have you,
No, I don't know.
you don't have an idea?
Yeah, I think we're surprised. Because I knew he's been there forever.
Yeah.
And then that was that like us, been doing it the whole time.
Now, my understanding is when the new company come in and took over, a lot of the equipment and supplies that were there at the school was turned over to the
Turned
new
over to
company,
you,
right?
yes.
So, and I think that's when a lot of this actually shifted, a lot of the equipment had shifted, was the fact that, well, they're not getting this, you know, this has been ours forever, and I'm not giving them my equipment.
I can see that.
So that's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, when some of the equipment and stuff really started slipping out. And, you know, the new company coming in,
Not knowing what
No,
would be there.
you know, and I'm sure there was some list somewhere, but, you know, they didn't know exactly what was what, and they were probably just proud to have a contract and get to work with the school. So
Yeah.
they would not have been pushing, well, where's this and where's that? You know, they accept what they got and moved into their business, so.
Yeah, I
you know,
always
so,
say with that.
yeah, I mean, I think that's-
Biggest time to,
The way that he was able to get 3 truckloads of stuff and not be, oh my God, where's all our stuff?
Right.
If that makes sense. So,
And we made the report to y'all in October, was it?
Yeah, sometime in October. I got that call early October.
and then October, November, December, just kind of doing some surveillance and watching, and so.
A lot of traffic.
Right.
We're trying to watch the gossip side of it, because I think before the arrest had ever even been made, somebody went over to the the county administration building, employees were there saying, oh my gosh, I heard this, and all these people were being arrested, so that's why we were trying to jump on it Friday night and send stuff out right away.
Now, your press release is pretty much one person's job.
Yeah.
Who was he using to clean the other sites? Independents or not? He wasn't like using the school janitors to clean his other jobs? Or was he doing it all himself?
He would actually hire some of the other janitors to do the work, and he would pay them out of his pocket or what he made off the job to come over and do floors and things like that.
But they're
So,
not our employees, they're
Right.
ABM employees now.
Right,
I got you. So they were employees of the subcontractor.
yes. So, but like I said, right now, although they were some of the other employees, subcontractors used to perform other work, he actually paid them, and we have no indication that they were involved in actually taking the equipment.